Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Rupinder Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for encouraging local languages in courts, says it will increase confidence of common people in judicial system. Prime Minister lays emphasis on use of technology in judicial system, asserts government is implementing e-courts project in mission mode for time-bound delivery of justice. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar exchanges views with Bhutan's Prime Minister Lothe Tshering on current global and regional developments. Lieutenant General Manoj Pandey takes over as new Chief of Army Staff. Index of 8 core industries posts robust growth of 10.4% during last fiscal. Several parts of country reel under heat wave. IMD issues yellow warning for northwest and eastern parts of the country for next 2 days. PV Sindhu settles for bronze after losing to Japan's Akhane Yamaguchi in semifinals of Asia Badminton Championships in Manila. In Santosh Trophy, 32-time champions West Bengal to take on hosts Kerala in the summit clash on Monday, and in IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans to take on Royal Challengers Bangalore and Rajasthan Royals to face Mumbai Indians today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today called for encouraging local languages in courts, saying it will increase the confidence of the common people in the judicial system. Mr. Modi said this while addressing the inaugural session of the Joint Conference of Chief Ministers of States and Chief Justices of High Courts in New Delhi.
बड़ी आबादी को न्यायिक प्रक्रिया से लेकर फैसलों तक को समझना मुश्किल होता है। हमें इस व्यवस्था को सरल और आम जनता के लिए ग्राह्य बनाने की जरूरत है। हमें कोर्ट्स में स्थानीय भाषाओं को प्रोत्साहन देने की जरूरत है। और मुझे खुशी है कई राज्यों ने मातृभाषा में टेक्निकल एजुकेशन, मेडिकल एजुकेशन के लिए कुछ इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं। तो आगे चल करके उसके कारण गांव का गरीब का बच्चा भी जो भाषा के कारण रुकावटें महसूस करता है, उसके लिए सारे रास्ते खुल जाएंगे। और ये भी तो एक बड़ा न्याय है, ये भी एक सामाजिक न्याय है। सामाजिक न्याय के लिए न्यायपालिका के तराजू तक जाने की जरूरत नहीं होती है। सामाजिक न्याय के लिए कभी भाषा भी बहुत बड़ा कारण बन सकती है।
The Prime Minister said the government considers the possibilities of technology in the judicial system as an essential part of the Digital India mission. He said the e-courts project is being implemented in mission mode in the country.
आज पूरी दुनिया में नागरिकों के अधिकार के लिए, उनके सशक्तिकरण के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी एक इम्पोर्टेंट टूल बन चुकी है। हमारे जुडिशियल सिस्टम में भी टेक्नोलॉजी की संभावनाओं से आप सब परिचित हैं। भारत सरकार भी जुडिशियल सिस्टम में टेक्नोलॉजी की संभावनाओं को डिजिटल इंडिया मिशन का एक जरूरी हिस्सा मानती है। उदाहरण के तौर पर ई कोर्ट्स प्रोजेक्ट को आज मिशन मोड में इम्प्लीमेंट किया जा रहा है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ई कमेटी के मार्गदर्शन में जुडिशियल सिस्टम में टेक्नोलॉजी इंटीग्रेशन और डिजिटाइजेशन का काम तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहा है।
Mr. Modi said the judiciary is the guardian of the Constitution and the legislature represents the aspirations of the citizens, adding that this balance will prepare the roadmap for an effective and time-bound judicial system in the country.
राज्य के मुख्यमंत्रियों और हाईकोर्ट के मुख्य न्यायाधीशों की ये जॉइंट कॉन्फ्रेंस हमारी संवैधानिक खूबसूरती का सजीव चित्रण है। हमारे देश में जहां एक और जुडिशरी की भूमिका संविधान संरक्षक की है, वहीं लेजिस्लेचर नागरिकों की आकांक्षाओं का प्रतिनिधित्व करता है। मुझे विश्वास है कि संविधान की इन दो धाराओं का ये संगम, ये संतुलन देश में प्रभावी और समयबद्ध न्याय व्यवस्था का रोडमैप तैयार करेगा।
The Prime Minister stressed that 75 years of independence have clarified the roles and responsibilities of both the judiciary and the executive. He added that this relation has evolved wherever necessary to give direction to the country. Mr. Modi said in this Amrit Kal, the country's vision should be for a judicial system where justice is easily available, quick and for everyone. Mr. Modi said in 2015 the centre identified about 1,800 laws which have become irrelevant. Out of these, 1,450 laws were abolished. He said only 75 such laws have been abolished by states and urged the states to look into it. Talking about under-trial prisoners, the Prime Minister said today there are about 3.5 lakh such prisoners in the country. He said most of them are from poor or ordinary families and urged the Chief Ministers and Chief Justices of High Courts to give priority to their cases. Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana said the law should be made after thorough debates and discussions incorporating the needs and aspirations of concerned people. He said often there is litigation because of the non-performance of executives and inaction of legislatures which are avoidable.
The judiciary is also confronted with the issues of the executive, willingly transferring the burden of decision-making to it. Although policy-making is not our domain, but if a citizen comes to the court with a prayer to address his grievance, the courts cannot say no. At times, ambiguities in legislation also add to existing legal issues. If the legislature passes a law with clarity of thought, foresight, and with people's welfare in mind, the scope of litigation gets minimized. The legislature is expected to solicit the views of the public and debate the bills clause by clause, threadbare, before enacting a law.
Law and Justice Minister Kiren Rijiju and Chief Ministers of several states and union territories were present in the conference. The joint conference is an occasion for the executive and the judiciary to come together to create frameworks for simple and convenient delivery of justice and to discuss steps required to overcome the challenges facing the judicial system. General Manoj Pandey today took over as the new Chief of Army Staff. He succeeded General Manoj Mukund Naravane. General Pandey is the 29th Army Chief and the first officer from the Corps of Engineers to get this opportunity. An alumnus of the National Defence Academy, General Pandey was commissioned into the Corps of Engineers in December 1982. He commanded an engineer regiment during Operation Parakram in the Pallanwala sector along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. In his 39-year military career, General Pandey has commanded an engineer brigade in the Western Theatre, an infantry brigade along LOC, a mountain division in the Ladakh sector, and a corps in the northeast. He was the Commander-in-Chief of the Andaman and Nicobar Command before he took charge of the Eastern Command. Earlier this morning, outgoing Army Chief General Naravane was given a Guard of Honour at the South Block Lawns in New Delhi prior to relinquishing his duty. He called on President Ramnath Kovind at Rashtrapati Bhavan. He also met Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. In a tweet, the Defence Minister said General Naravane's contribution as a military leader has strengthened India's defence capabilities and preparedness.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on Bhutan's Prime Minister Lothe Tshering in Thimphu and exchanged views on the current global and regional developments. Dr. Jaishankar also apprised him of the progress in bilateral cooperation, including development partnership. Dr. Jaishankar is on a 2-day visit to Bhutan at the invitation of his Bhutanese counterpart Leonpe Thandi Dorji. Dr. Jaishankar is Bhutan's first high-level visitor from abroad since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country in March 2020. Earlier, Dr. Jaishankar met his Bhutanese counterpart Thandi Dorji. Dr. Jaishankar also called on King of Bhutan, Jigme Kesar Namgyal Wangchuk. After meeting the king, External Affairs Minister admired his vision of transforming Bhutan and termed it a key aspect in shaping the unique partnership with India. The index of 8 core industries, ICI, posted robust growth of 10.4% during 2021-22 fiscal as compared to the corresponding period of previous financial year. A desk report.
Getting to the data released by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the combined index of 8 core industries grew 4.3% in March this year as compared to the index of March 2021. The growth in the production of natural gas stood at 7.6%, steel index appreciated 3.7%, cement index grew 8.8%, and electricity stood at 4.9% during the month of March 2022. Refinery products grew 6.2% and fertilizer output grew by 15.3% in March this year. As per the Office of Economic Advisor, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade data, final growth rate of index of 8 crore industries for December 2021 has been revised to 4.1% from its provisional level of 3.8%. With Santosh report, Ravi Kumar, AR News, Delhi.
The Coal Ministry has said that sufficient coal stock with coal companies is available in the country. The ministry said coal stock at Coal India Limited is 56.7 million tons and Singareni Collieries Company is 4.3 million tons. It said coal stock at captive coal blocks is about 2.3 million tons. The government has also decided to cancel several passenger trains in order to prioritize the movement of coal rakes across the country to fulfill the demand of thermal power plants. Train cancellation has been done in non-priority sectors and less busy routes. The Coal Ministry said coal production by Coal India Limited has increased by 27.2% in this month as compared to the same period of last year. On the other hand, coal dispatch has increased by 5.8%. It said the coal stock at railways, goods shed sidings, washery sidings and port is about 4.7 million tons and is ready to be moved to thermal power plants immediately. The ministry said Indian Railways is fully geared to move coal stock to power generation companies across the country and it is increasing rakes availability. The Coal Ministry said Coal India Limited has offered 5.75 million tons coal to the state and central power generation companies and 5.3 million tons of this coal has been agreed to be booked by the generation companies. Oil marketing companies will organize more than 5,000 LPG panchayats on the occasion of Ujjwala Divas on the 1st of May. All efforts will be made to maximize customer enrollment apart from experience sharing, aimed at safe and sustained usage of LPG. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 1st of May in 2016 at Balia in Uttar Pradesh. To celebrate the achievements of the scheme, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas has decided to celebrate the 1st of May as Ujjwala Divas this year. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana is a major step towards social inclusion by providing free LPG connection to every BPL household.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for encouraging local languages in courts, says it will increase confidence of common people in judicial system. Prime Minister lays emphasis on use of technology in judicial system, asserts government is implementing e-courts project in mission mode for time-bound delivery of justice. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar exchanges views with Bhutan's Prime Minister Lote Tshering on current global and regional developments. Lieutenant General Manoj Pandey takes over as new Chief of Army Staff. Index of 8 core industries posts robust growth of 10.4% during last fiscal. Several parts of the country reel under heat wave. IMD issues yellow warning for northwest and eastern parts of the country for next 2 days. PV Sindhu settles for bronze after losing to Japan's Akane Yamaguchi in semifinals of Asia Badminton Championships in Manila. In Santosh Trophy, 32-time champions West Bengal to take on hosts Kerala in the summit clash on Monday. And in IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans to take on Royal Challengers Bangalore and Rajasthan Royals to face Mumbai Indians today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has criticized the Punjab government on Patiala violence. He said the law and order situation is getting worse day by day in the state. Mr. Thakur pointed out that Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann said he is spending more time outside the state. He said even before polls, questions were raised about the intentions and capabilities of the Aam Aadmi Party. The minister said the central government and BJP want peace and brotherhood in Punjab.
पटियाला में जो हुआ है वो कहीं न कहीं संकेत है कि पंजाब में कानून व्यवस्था कैसे चरमरा रही है। वहाँ के मुख्यमंत्री पंजाब में कम, पंजाब से बाहर ज्यादा समय बिता रहे हैं। पंजाब के कानून व्यवस्था किसके हाथ में है? क्या पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री, वहाँ की सरकार कुछ कर पा रही है? किसकी शह पर ये सब हुआ है? क्या उन लोगों के खिलाफ कड़े कदम उठाए जाएंगे जिन्होंने शांति को भंग करने का प्रयास किया है? उसके लिए भी एक बार फिर प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा हुआ है कि आखिरकार पंजाब में जो पार्टी सत्ता में है वो किस सोच को बढ़ावा देने जा रही है। इस बात का जवाब आम आदमी पार्टी को देना होगा, क्योंकि बहुत सारे प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़े हो रहे हैं कि एक बॉर्डर वाले राज्य में अगर किसी एक जिला से ये चिंगारी सुलगती है तो इसको सही समय पर कदम उठाने चाहिए।
Union Minister of Shipping, Ports and Waterways, Sarbananda Sonowal, has said India, as a responsible global country, is firmly committed to sustainable and clean energy in the maritime sector. Inaugurating a workshop on green shipping in Kochi, the minister observed that the marine industry is rapidly moving towards green and sustainable fuels. He said the country's ports will have to be geared up for the transition towards green energy. This will mean the ports will have to store, dispense and offer various clean fuel solutions to vessels calling on her ports. Mr. Sonowal said the National Hydrogen Mission, announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will have a significant maritime component.
Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC's initial public offering will open on the 4th of next month for public subscription and close on the 9th of May. LIC IPO will list on the share markets on the 17th of May. LIC, the country's largest life insurer, has fixed the price band of 902 to 949 rupees per equity share for its maiden public offer. Investors can bid for a minimum of 15 equity shares and in multiples of 15 equity shares thereafter. With this IPO, which is through an offer for sale OFS route, the government is looking to divest its 3.5% stake in the insurer by selling 22.13 crore shares. Addressing media in New Delhi, Secretary in Department of Investment and Public Asset Management Tuhin Kanta Pandey said the LIC IPO is going to be the biggest public offering in the country. He said it is the government's commitment of wider public participation in government's ownership.
It will be high value enhancing for LIC in the long run. And the current IPO is, of course, the first step of long-term value creation for LIC shareholders. And we expect significant retail participation in one of the most valuable corporations.
And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
On the 30th of April 1908, Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chaki attacked the carriage which they thought was carrying the infamous magistrate Kingsford.
Kingsford was unpopular for passing harsh and cruel sentences on young freedom fighters of Bengal. He was also noted for inflicting corporal punishments on Indians. This led to rage against the magistrate Kingsford. The revolutionary independence activists planned to take revenge.
Prafulla Chaki and Khudiram Bose were chosen for the assassination of Kingsford, who was posted as magistrate in Muzaffarpur. Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chaki adopted different names to escape the British intelligence officers. Khudiram took the name of Haren Sarkar and Prafulla Chaki disguised himself in the name of Dinesh Chandra Roy. Both the young boys took up residence in a dharamshala. In the ensuing days, Prafulla and Khudiram monitored the activities and daily routine of Magistrate Kingsford. The two revolutionaries successfully hid their identities for over 3 weeks.
Initially, the plan was to throw a bomb in the court, but later it was changed to avoid injuries to civilians present in the court. They decided to attack Kingsford in front of the British Club. Pretending to be schoolboys, they surveyed the park situated opposite the British Club. On the evening of 29th of April, Khudiram and Prafulla were in place to execute their plans. However, on this occasion, they were noticed by a constable.
On the fateful day of the 30th of April 1908, Kingsford and his wife were accompanying the daughter and wife of another British barrister, Pringle Kennedy, in the park. In the evening, the families decided to leave. Kingsford and his wife were in one carriage, and Mrs. Kennedy and her daughter in another. However, the two carriages were identical. As their carriages reached the European club, Khudiram and Prafulla ran towards the carriage and threw the bombs.
The carriage was shattered and the Kennedy family sustained terrible injuries. Magistrate Kingsford was lucky to escape the bomb. Khudiram and Prafulla went their own ways to escape capture. While police arrested Khudiram from the Veni railway station in Samastipur district, Prafulla Chaki killed himself before being caught by the police.
Gandhiji shifted to Sevagram Ashram in Wardha on the 30th of April 1934. When Gandhiji started his Padayatra in 1930 from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi for the Salt Satyagraha, he had decided not to return to Sabarmati till India attained independence. When Gandhiji was released from prison after 2 years, as India was yet to gain independence, he decided to make a village in central India his headquarters.
He came to Wardha in 1934 at the invitation of Jamnalal Bajaj. On the 30th of April 1936, Gandhiji established his residence in the village Shegam. There was another village in this region named Shegam, made famous by the residents of Sant Gajanan Maharaj. So Gandhiji's letters used to get misdirected. Therefore, it was decided in 1940 to rename this village as Sevagram, meaning the village of service.
From then on, Sevagram has become an inspiring place. Many decisions on important national matters and movements were taken at Sevagram. It became the central place for a number of institutions for nation-building activities devised by Gandhiji to suit the inherent strength of our country.
We also remember Gopal Singh. Gopal Singh belonged to district Kangra of Himachal Pradesh. He formerly served in the Dogra regiment of the British Indian Army. Gopal Singh voluntarily joined the Indian National Army and served in the infantry group. He was killed on the 30th of April 1946. AIR News salutes the brave nationalist.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In view of heat wave conditions, the India Meteorological Department has issued yellow warning for Western Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Western UP, MP, Jharkhand for the next 2 days. Talking to AIR News, senior scientist in IMD, R.K. Jenamani said the western disturbance is advancing and thunderstorms and rainfall are likely to take place in these areas from the 2nd of next month.
Heat wave has been predominant over larger area like covering Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, parts of Bengal, Madhya Maharashtra and Vidarbha and Madhya Pradesh. So also at some temperature most of the places 43, 44 and some stations cross also 45. These kind of condition will continue up to 1st May. Then from 2nd May it will start falling and there is a very active western disturbance moving to the northwest and central India during 2nd to 5th. So there will be good rainfall and thunderstorm activity.
In Kerala, rains accompanied by lightning and thunderstorms will continue at isolated places till Wednesday. According to the Met Department, rainfall would be favourable due to the combination of a low-pressure area over South India and east-west winds. Yellow alert has been issued to Ernakulam and Malappuram districts today. Malappuram will continue to be under alert tomorrow along with Wayanad district in the high ranges.
In Asia Badminton Championships, India's PV Sindhu today won her second Asian bronze medal after a heart-breaking 3-game loss to top seed and defending champion Akane Yamaguchi of Japan in the semi-final in Manila. The two-time Olympic medalist and former world champion Sindhu had the match in her control after clinching the opening game 21-13 and leading 13-11 in the second.
The 20-year-old Sartaj Singh Thiwana defeated Olympian Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar in the finals of the 50-meter rifle 3 positions event at the Khelo India University Games in Bengaluru. It was a surprise outcome at the SAI shooting range when Sartaj, representing Lovely Professional University, won the gold and pipped Aishwarya Pratap Singh, who was the favourite to win the event. Aishwarya had represented India in the recently held Tokyo Olympics. He represents Guru Nanak Dev University.
In 75th Santosh Trophy National Football Tournament, 32-time champions West Bengal will take on hosts Kerala in the summit clash at Payanad Stadium in Manjeri on Monday. The match will begin at 8 p.m. Last night, West Bengal stormed into the final, beating Manipur by 3-0 in the semi-final in Manjeri. In IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans will take on Royal Challengers Bangalore at Brabourne Stadium in Mumbai at 3:30 p.m. today. In another match, Rajasthan Royals will face Mumbai Indians at Dr. D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai at 7:30 p.m. Last night, Lucknow Super Giants defeated Punjab Kings by 20 runs at MCA Stadium in Pune. Chasing a victory target of 154 runs, Punjab Kings made only 133 for the loss of 8 wickets. For Gujarat Titans, young pacer Mohsin Khan starred with the ball, picking up 3 wickets, while Krunal Pandya took 2 wickets.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. Srinagar is likely to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature was 12 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be around 25 degrees. Jammu is expected to have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees while maximum will be around 41. Leh is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 6 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be around 19 degrees. Gilgit is expected to have partly cloudy sky too. The temperature will hover between 13 and 35 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is likely to have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 21. Maximum will be around 40 degrees. National capital Delhi is experiencing severe heat wave. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees. Maximum expected to be around 44. Mumbai is expected to have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees. Maximum expected around 34. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 29. Maximum expected around 34. Kolkata is likely to have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 28 degrees. Maximum will be around 36 degrees. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for encouraging local languages in courts, says it will increase confidence of common people in judicial system. Prime Minister lays emphasis on use of technology in judicial system, asserts government is implementing e-courts project in mission mode for time-bound delivery of justice. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar exchanges views with Bhutan's Prime Minister Lote Tshering on current global and regional developments. Lieutenant General Manoj Pandey takes over as new Chief of Army Staff. Index of 8 core industries posts robust growth of 10.4% during last fiscal. Several parts of the country reel under heat wave. IMD issues yellow warning for northwest and eastern parts of the country for the next 2 days. PV Sindhu settles for bronze after losing to Japan's Akane Yamaguchi in semifinals of Asia Badminton Championships in Manila. In Santosh Trophy, 32-time champions West Bengal to take on hosts Kerala in the Summit Clash on Monday. And in IPL cricket, Gujarat Titans to take on Royal Challengers Bangalore and Rajasthan Royals to face Mumbai Indians today. And with that, we end the midday news.